Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa and this is Melissa Knits for Fun. Well, today I am wrapping up my cones that are in my stash. I do have a couple over here that are Deadstock yarns. If you've already seen that video, these are a couple that escaped. They were in project bags. One of them I mentioned that I knew, but this one I had totally forgotten about, and I will get there in just a little bit to tell y'all about those. And then I've got some Ito, some JC Rennie, some Woolyknit, some Kelbourn Woolens, and some knit picks. All right, so I do have some things in here. You'll notice there's some things in here that, like this, that are not cones. But I just don't have a huge stash of Ito in order to do just an Ito, so I wanted to go ahead and grab the Mohair that I have of Ito and brought it in. And then I've got a few that are 200 gram skeins back here of the Woolyknit. And I do have enough with the Kelbourn Woolen and the knit of the Andes, or the knit picks, which is the wool of the Andes. I do have probably enough of that I could combine those two in a video, but I really wanted to put the cones in here. You may see them again whenever I get to that video, but I wanted to put them in here since we are finishing off the cone yarns. All right, as you can tell, I am recording this right after my Sandus Garn video, same messy hair, but I do have a different shirt this time, and I'm gonna sit up a little bit so that you can see. Whoop! Maybe if my knees will let me. Oh my gosh, getting old is not easy, but this just says knit happens, and I wanted to talk about this shirt just a little bit because I got this on my very first ever yarn crawl. I lived in San Antonio, Texas, and we had a yarn crawl. It had 20 different stores, and there were 3 of us that went together, and we ended up going out. And we started at one end and worked our way back to San Antonio, then went the other way the next weekend. But this was the first shop that we went into. It was called A Sheep at the Wheel in Georgetown, Texas. I think it was the first one. But anyway, I do know that this is one that I walked into, and this should not surprise anybody who watches my podcast or has seen my stash. I walked in there, like I said, my first ever yarn crawl. I had no idea. And I had gone in and I had set a budget for myself. I was like, oh, I'm only going to spend this much. So spread across 20 stores, it wasn't a whole lot. I walked in this store. I checked out. I had spent over half of what I had budgeted. And I was like, well, I guess my budget has to change, right? This was back when I was making more money than I could ever have imagined that I was making. I don't make that now. That was during the heyday before COVID of the contracting days when they were just throwing money out, you know, hand over fist. And I took advantage of it. So anyway, to talk about, you know, that yarn crawl, I just had to give y'all a little bit of context for this top. And, you know, knit does happen in my house all the time. I knit constantly. All right, we're going to get started with the Deadstock yarns. And I'm just going to reach back here and get these. I will edit whenever I get the ones that I have more of, but we're going to start with the Deadstocks. Then I'll go to the wool of the Andes, the knit picks, and the Kelbourn, because those are the ones that I only have like 1 or 2 of. And that way we can just get those out of the way. Those are easy to get to. And then I will go to the other brands. All right. So let me just grab these 2. This is the one, this is a Deadstock. This came from, both of these came from Woolly Yarn. And this is a Deadstock that I mentioned that it was with Letha's Handheld, and I'm going to make the petite knit Esther sweater out of. And this is just a really, really pretty, it's a 70-30 mohair blend, and it's just a really pretty light gray, but it is more of a blue gray. So it's almost like an icy blue gray. It's a really, really pretty color in person. And there is some, Letha has some hand-dyed yarn that the base just goes perfectly with it. And then it has these pink speckles through it. It's just going to be an absolutely beautiful Esther sweater. All right. And then the other one, and this one I just totally forgot about. This is 100% linen. And this I had stuck in the project bag with my sea glass tee because it's one of the contrast colors. It uses very, very little in that, so I will have a complete t-shirt quantity out of this. And who knows, I might even get more than one because this is a really thin yarn and I've got quite a bit of it. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful dark green. I do not know anything else about it. This does not even have the little tag with the number on it, so I can't even go back and find out how much did I order, what colorway is it, or anything else. That's the beauty of Deadstock yarns. They are gone. So you got to get them while you can. All right, so those are my 2 Deadstocks. Then reaching over here, I'm going to bring these down. If I can grab that one. All right, we're going to start with this one. This is my Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. This is in the colorway Columbine. And I did knit a sweater out of this. I will talk about that, actually. I'm not going to talk about that one today. I'm not going to get up and go get it. But I will talk about that whenever I do the Knit Picks, because I have a few sweaters that I've made out of Knit Picks, Wool of the Andes and palette, or not palette, but Wool of the Andes Sport and worsted. And so I can talk a little bit about how they held up. But this particular one, I did have 2 cones of this. I did make the Women's Vine Pullover by Melanie Roundtree as a test knit, and it is just beautiful. It's very, very nice to work with. It is a more rustic yarn, but it does soften up. It does not, I don't think, have spinning oil on it because I don't feel it being greasy at all. And it does bloom out a little bit, but you can see it's got the halo, so I'm pretty sure this has been washed. And like I said, this is the colorway Columbine. It is worsted, and it is called Wool of the Andes because it is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. All right. This bad boy, which I love this. I mean, it's twice as big as my head. I found this at Kelbourn Woolens when I went into their shop when I was in Philadelphia. And they just happened to have this. They don't sell cone yarns. This happened to be one that I don't know. They couldn't tell me why. Like, was it slightly off of the color? Had the spin been a little bit different? Don't know. That's usually why it winds up in cones. And they put them out to decorate their shop. Or if somebody asks, they'll usually sell them. And I did ask. They did sell this to me. This is the Erin, E-R-I-N, base. And it is I think it's New Zealand and Ireland wools mix. It's 2 different wools that are mixed. And it is a Erin weight yarn. It is absolutely stunning. I am going to make a cardigan out of this. And it is not my usual colorway, but I really like it. And I really think a cardigan out of this would go with everything. And I did check the prices. Had I bought the same amount in single skeins, I would have paid twice as much, or actually a little bit more than twice as much as I did for this cone. So it was a really great bargain for me, but it was just one of those happenstance lucky finds. So don't think that you're going to be able to purchase cones from Kelbourn Woolens unless you just happen to be in there and they happen to have something on a cone. They do not always. I think they had 2 other things on cones when I was in there, and I didn't buy either one of them. But there were not a lot. It's not like every base had a cone. All right, now, you are going to see a little bit of a move because I am going to start with JC Rennie, and they're right behind me, so I am going to pause for just a second while I get those down here. All right, now, what I didn't tell you, and I should have, was the Wool of the Andes does come in skeins as well. I believe they're 50-gram skeins, and they come in sport weight and worsted weight. And I do actually have another cone of the worsted weight coming. It should be here, I don't know, in the next week or so. And the Kelbourn Woolens, as I said, those usually come in 100-gram hanks. So, next in line is JC Rennie. JC Rennie is a Scottish mill, and it reminds me a lot of Super Soft by Holsgarn, but it is a little bit softer once you wash it, and it is a whole lot greasier and stinkier while it's on the cone. And they sell many different blends. Well, not many different blends. They sell some different blends. And they sell different size cones as well. You can get a 500 or you can get an 850. And you can also get them in 50-gram hanks or 50-gram balls that have been washed. So if you don't need that much, that might be your best bet. And if you live in the UK or in Europe, it's probably a much, much better shipping rate than what I get in the US. So I did not buy a ton when I bought the yarn because I didn't know what it was going to be like. And the shipping is pretty high, but I didn't want to be stuck with a lot of yarn that I just did not like. So I only bought a couple of cones. I wish I had bought a cone of every single base that they have. I did not. So I am going to be placing an order Black Friday this year because, oh my gosh, this is so stunning. And they have several different colors I want, and I want to buy the shade cards as well. I do try to buy shade cards everywhere I can so that I can actually see the colors and then make my decision. But on these two, I did take a chance, and boy, did they pay off. I will show you the first one, and I will have to pause in a minute and go get the sweater. Actually, let me pause right now. I'm going to go get the sweater that I have that I used the JC Rennie as the background color with a couple of Holst garns as the contrast colors. But I want to show it to you. I want to talk about how it bloomed, how I blocked it, and how I feel about it after knitting a sweater out of it and wearing it. All right, I am back. I went and got the sweater, and I want to tell you beforehand, you will see I have not woven my ends in. And I even have a stitch marker where I accidentally dropped a stitch that I need to tack down, but I have worn it like this. I didn't care. So don't judge me too harshly. I just tucked them up in there, but this is the sweater. This is the Fosteriana by Melanie Roundtree. And as you can see, I used the gray in the background. I'm trying to get it up there to where you can see. I think you can actually see how beautiful this yarn is. It's got pinks and blues and this yellow and purple and I think a little bit of green. It's just gorgeous. And you can kind of see it in the cone here, but how it turned out, I mean, look at this. It just does not show up as much here, but it is just stunning. Absolutely stunning. It is soft. It is a little softer after the first block than Holst Garn Super Soft is. JC Rennie calls this Super Soft as well, and it is a Shetland Merino mix, and I'm telling you, it is not like super wash soft, but it does bloom a little bit more, and it has a little bit more of a halo. I don't know if that's because of how they spin it or what, but to me, it's soft. I like it. If you're sensitive, you will not like this yarn. I am not, and I love this yarn. I really want to do just a whole sweater with no color work, no nothing, out of this color right here held single like this is, because it's just such a stunning, stunning, stunning color. I've worn this a few times. I have had zero pilling. It has not peeled at all. Now, this yarn, I block it just like I do with Holst Garn, and it blooms just like Holst Garn does. But like I said, it has a bit more of a halo, so it blooms out just a little bit more, and it's just a little bit softer after the first block. I haven't washed this a second time. And what I did was I did the same thing. I put dish soap, so Dawn dishwash liquid, in pretty hot water, not like scalding hot. I could hold my hand under it, but it was warm. It's like what I would take a shower in. And then I soaked it for 15 minutes, and let me tell you, that water and those bubbles were nasty. They were gray. And then I took it out, then I put it back in the water on a cooler, so more warm. We weren't tepid yet, but we were warm, with Dawn again. This would be, I think it's Fairy Liquid if you're in the UK, but it's any dishwashing soap that says it takes grease out. And then, and they do have a thing on their website telling you how to block it or how to, get the oil out. And I think it does mention to use one of these dish soaps. But I put it in there, I soak it for another 15 minutes, then I step it down to like a tepid, like you would bathe a baby in maybe, where it's on your wrist, it's not too hot, a lukewarm, tepid kind of water. And then I finally go down to cold. And I do throw it in the washing machine to spin out all of the water because I don't want to have to wring it out and step on it and all that stuff. I've not thrown this in the washing machine yet to like do a full cycle on delicate or anything. But it just bloomed out absolutely beautifully, and I lay it flat to dry. It is just gorgeous. But let me tell you, in this scheme, I mean, it stinks. It stinks. It smells like oil. Smells like machine oil, because that's what it is. It's got oil in it. And these are called, when you go to their website, they are called greasy cones. They are greasier than Holst Garn. I don't know if it's because their equipment is older. I have no idea why, but it is what it says. It's greasy, and you're going to want to wash your hands after you've knit with it before you eat or do anything else. But if you let it sit out, the smell does kind of dissipate a little bit. Don't put this in a bag, because when you take it out, you're going to be like, oh my gosh. Like when I unboxed this, I was like, oh my gosh. And the room I was in stunk because it stinks. Don't let that keep you from doing it though. Now, I bought an 850 gram cone of this. So this is Oogie Purl, and what it says in here, and I like this. It's got all of the little information here. It tells me it's a 11.3 NM super soft. That is a 2-ply, and I think it means that there's 11.3 centimeters in a gram. Or no, 11.3, I don't remember. But it does tell me that basically it's a 2-ply fingering. And it says it's super soft, and the colorway is 1060 Oogie Purl. And this one is just absolutely gorgeous, and I have a lot left. I mean, look at that. Just look at that. It is beautiful. This probably would be really stunning together, although I think that leans too blue. But this would be really pretty with like a really, really pale gray mohair as well. But I've got enough for at least 2 more sweaters out of this. And these are bargains. And if I'm buying JC Rennie, I'm buying the 850 gram balls or 850 gram cones, because I want to make sure that I get enough to do anything I want to with it, because like I said, the shipping's pretty expensive. And then finally, I bought this one. This is the cashmere wool blend. And it tells me here, it says this is super soft cashmere. I think it's got 12.5% cashmere. It is soft. You can feel it in the cone that it is softer than this one. This is much more rustic than this. You can feel the cashmere in it. And this is the colorway Bordeaux. And it is, again, the 2-ply. It's the same makeup as that. It is greasy. It does stink like machine oil. But boy, isn't this just gorgeous. And I cannot wait to get this cast on and make something out of it. And there's a lot of mohairs that would be beautiful with this. But I do plan on the first one just making it and holding it single. And I think I've got a color work that I'm going to do with this. I would have to look at my queue and my stash and see what I'm going to make with this. But I do have something planned for this. JC Rennie also has Aran weight. They call it chunky, but it's an Aran weight of their super soft. They also have a Shetland that's just 100% Shetland, and they have that in regular and chunky. Those colorways are limited. The cashmere colorway is limited. The one that they have the most colorways in is the super soft. And then I think they have one that's called naturals, and those are the natural colors, and I don't think those are dyed. But you can get all of these in 500 gram cones, 850 gram cones, or 50 gram balls, and the balls have been washed, so they've already been scoured. All right. Love this yarn, and have plans to buy quite a bit more. And when I do eventually get to Scotland and Shetland and all of that, I am going to buy some JC Rennie in person, and I'm just going to let myself go in there and buy it. I'm not going to limit myself. If I love the color, it's just going to come home with me. So we shall see what happens there. If I get to Wales next year, maybe I will hop over. And I know they are like, what do you mean hop over to Scotland? It's like a 10-hour drive. Well, I can drive 10 hours and still be in the same state over here in the United States. So that doesn't seem arduous to me. That's just a good road trip, although I would probably take the train. So we will see what happens, but I will be ordering some JC Rennie this year around Black Friday, around Christmas. It'll be a Christmas gift to myself. And then I will hopefully get to go there one day. All right. I'm going to pause again real quick and I'm going to bring down my Ito yarns. So Ito yarns, the majority of their yarns, with the exception of their Mohair, there are a couple of other yarns that don't as well, but the majority of them come on these little bitty cones. And so that's why they got thrown in here, because all of them are on cones, and these two right here are their 100% silk cones, and they are lace weight. So you can see there how small that is, and that is because I think that Ito intends for you to either hold like a silk mohair with their yarns or hold them double, etc. I only have these two colors in this, and this is the Kinu, as I said, 100% silk. It is different than the 100% silk by Knitting for Olive. While it is more of a rustic, it's not that mulberry shiny silk, but it's more tweedy though, right? So I think it may be barrette silk, but I think that they put some tweed or some little silk neps in there that I'm not sure. But it is much more tweedy. You can see these. It's a different look than the Knitting for Olive, and it is a little bit thinner. These are actually quite thin. This is 425 meters for 50 grams. So it is for sure a pure lace weight. And I am going to hold these double. This one, which is the colorway Pacific, is going to be the Yumi by Isabel Kramer. And I got 4 of these. I went to YarnCon last year, and there was a vendor who carried Ito yarns. And I wound up just ordering from her because she didn't have enough in the booth. And so I ordered from her website and had it shipped to me. But I got 4 of these and then realized pretty quickly that that wasn't enough to get me a t-shirt. So I needed to make sure that I bought some more. And I had done the same with this. This is the Violet is the colorway. And I'm going to hold both of them double. So what I wound up doing was I went to Wool & Company and I bought 4 more of these. They're going to be different dye lots, but I will hold one of the originals and one of the Wool & Company ones, the different dye lots. I'll hold those 2 together so it will make the same fabric all the way across, so I won't have to worry about it. So I have, like I said, this is going to be the Yumi. I don't remember. I do have a plan for this, and I will be holding both of these double, and they will be summer tops. Now, speaking of another one that I got at YarnCon through that same vendor, or as a result of YarnCon, I didn't actually buy it at YarnCon. I bought it in the cab on the way back to the hotel. But I bought this that is ASA, A-S-A, and it also is a lace weight. It's really, really thin. Now, this is 225 meters per 25 grams. I have 8 of these. I'm planning to hold it double. I'm hoping that I have enough to hold double because they are 25 gram cones versus 50 gram, and I'm not sure that I knew that. And I will tell you, I'm not really sure why I bought this yarn. It is much shinier than what I would normally wear, and it is a bit of a melange, but it is a pinky color. It's much pinkier than what it's showing up, and the colorway of this is Seide, S-E-I-D-E. And the composition is 72% linen, 18% cotton, and 10% silk. No, I'm sorry, that is not the color. Silk, that's I guess that's the Japanese word. But the colorway is NG, E-N-J-I. So I would need to hold this double or hold something with it. I really don't want to hold anything with it, and I don't want to hold it with like a wool or something, although I could, and it would be very, very pretty. But with this composition, the linen, cotton, and silk, I really think I should make a summer top out of this. So if you have any suggestions of what you think I should make out of this, with it, keeping in mind it's shinier than what I would normally wear, what do you think that I should make? Do you have any suggestions on a summer top? All right, and these next 2, these are both the same. They are Kosho, and they are 90% wool, 10% cashmere. And I got these because I wanted, before I invested in a complete sweater quantity, I wanted to do some swatching, and I'm not holding these by themselves. So I'm going to start with this one, which is the colorway Bordeaux, and I grabbed the yarn. Nope, that's Damson. Trying to find the Bordeaux. Okay, I grabbed the Mohair as well in the colorway Bordeaux. And I have to tell you, that Mohair is so much lighter that I'm not positive I'm going to love that. I might wind up just getting enough of this to hold double. It again is a lace weight. Well, actually, yeah, it is a lace weight, but it's a little bit of a heavier lace weight. It's 25 grams for 175 meters. So it's a little heavier than like the Asa. So, but this is Kosho. I might just hold this double. I might wind up having to get some more of these because I'm not positive that I'm going to like how that looks. But I do want to swatch it up, and these are the same colorways. I do want to swatch it up before I make that decision. But yeah, this will obviously be a sweater because that's what I make. But I will either hold it separate or I will hold it double. Now this next one, that the colorway is Blackberry, this one, the mohair that would go with it is Damson. They didn't have Blackberry, so I got those two to go together. This one again is one that I think might be a little bit light, and this might go with that purple that I have in the Deadstock. I'll have to look at that as well, but I am going to swatch them together. I'm going to do a little bit of swatching, and then I will decide what I'm going to do, if I'm going to want to hold it double, or if I am going to want to do this mix, or if I want to mix it with the Deadstock purple mohair. And then that brings me to the rest of the mohair, with the exception of one, because I want to tell y'all, I swear to you, when these yarns hear me talking about that I am going to do a video showcasing them, they have a little conversation and they say, ooh, you need to go hide. Because I wind up, such as the Sandusgarn, the Ticklina that I forgot about, I forgot to grab it. When I did my knitting for Olive, I said, oh, I'm pretty sure I have deep petroleum blue in this silk too. Well, as I was digging out some of my yarns to showcase today, some of the Sandusgarn, to make sure I had all of it, sure enough, I came across the deep petroleum blue by Knitting for Olive. And I know for a fact I have another mohair that is named Denim. It's the colorway. Can I find it? Absolutely not. So it has hidden somewhere. I just saw it the other day and I was like, oh yay, that's where that yarn is. And now it's gone again. So I swear to you, they have little, conversations and go, hoo-hoo, you should go hide. And so I'm sure it's somewhere with some of the other yarns having a good time. But I do have these other four, and I do have plans for all of them except for this one. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't like this color. This color is way too muted. I will not even take it out. I'll probably try to gift it to somebody at the yarn shop, or who knows, maybe I'll make it a prize, to give away for one of my giveaways or something. But I will do nothing with this. This is not my color. This is not my color. It's just not. The only way I would use this color is to do it like in a color work or something. But this colorway is Billiard. And the Ito yarn, the mohair, is a 60-40 blend. So it's 60% mohair, 40% silk. And it is just beautiful. And it is 240 meters per 25 grams. It is a beautiful, beautiful mohair. This is a beautiful, beautiful color. It is just not my blue. Now, these other colors, however, these are my colorways. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I am going to hold it with something, and I'm still trying to decide which yarn to hold this with. It's called Coke. So it does look a lot like a Coca-Cola. It is beautiful, but it's not quite as deep as what it's showing up on screen right now. I have a whole sweater quantity of this. I saw this at Woolen Company. I was like, yeah, I have to have 6 of those. Give them to me. So this will be a sweater, whether it will be like a cabled sweater or it will be just a plain sweater. I don't know yet because I don't have a plan for this. And if you've seen any of my yarns that you think, oh, you should hold this with that, let me know. Or if you know of a yarn that you're like, ooh, that would go perfect with this other yarn that I've seen, let me know that as well. But this will be in my future. This is a beautiful, beautiful brown. It's not quite as dark as what it's showing up. It really does look like if you poured a glass of Coca-Cola. That is the colorway. Then I do have plans for this one. Woo, I have plans for this one. This right here, this is so stunning. And the colorway of this is Orient Blue. It is such a deep, deep, dark blue. Oh my gosh. I have tried to match it up with some some yarns. I've tried to match it up with some of my Holst yarn. It's not been dark enough. The Holst yarn has not been dark enough. I've tried to match it up with some Cascade 220 Superwash. It's not quite dark enough. But you know what color what I did find that is the exact perfect thing to hold with this? That is Knitting for Olive No Waste yarn in dark navy. And I will get me a sweater quantity of that, and then I will order some of this at the same time that I order more of this from Woolen Company. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Gorgeous. And then last but not least, the last mohair that I do have is this colorway right here. And the colorway of this is well, it is backwards. This one is printed backwards. So it's, okay, this is on backwards or something, because that is not right. There we go, Purl Blue. Yeah, it was put on there backwards. So it was backwards. Okay, that's great. I can't get that back on there, so it'll just sit like this. I'll wind it up so it doesn't get too tangled. But it's Purl Blue, which now tells me, I've got another one around here somewhere too that's called Pool Blue. Or actually, I don't think that I pulled the trigger on that one. So I'm probably wrong about that. I do know there's another one that's called Pool Blue that looked more green. But this is Purl Blue. I have an exact match to this in some of my drops, in Drops Flora. And I will hold those two together, and I will do some sort of a textured knit with that. So absolutely stunning. Love the Ito, the 60/40. That extra silk does make a difference. All right, and that's all of my Ito. And now for what I have the most of, I'm going to pause just a minute while I bring down all of the Woolyknit. All right, the couch behind me is clear, and we are starting on the one that I have the most of, which is the Woolyknit. And I am going to show y'all the non-cones first, because how Woolyknit sells their yarns as far as the British wool, the 4-ply British wool, and the 4-ply merino, they sell those in your 500 gram cones or a 200 gram hank. And the first order that I placed with Woolyknit, they were doing a sale, and I will tell you, this is all Rebecca Clo's fault. This is one of her favorite brands. I started watching her podcast, and I got sucked into the Woolyknit thing, and I was like, oh, I need all of this. They were running a sale on their hanks, and they were, I think the British wool was 2 for 20 pounds, and the merino was 2 for 30 pounds. I won't swear to that price, but there was like a 2-for that made it cheaper than if you just bought them outright. And so since they were running a sale and I wasn't having to commit to a complete and total cone, I was like, oh, I think that I will buy some of those. So I bought these two in the British wool, and this is the colorway. These aren't labeled, but I will show y'all. I have these handy duty little shade cards. I do try to buy shade cards everywhere I can, because I can make informed decisions about the colors I want. So this color, and this is a British wool. So this colorway is Morning Frost. So this one is Morning Frost. I'm 99% sure this one is Fandango Pink. No. Yes. Maybe. I may be wrong. Nope, I'm not. This is Fandango Pink. The other one is a merino that I was looking at in the cone. This is Fandango Pink and Morning Mist. Morning Frost, sorry. I will get it right. It is Morning Frost and Fandango Pink. I originally thought that I would do these together in a color work, and I may still, but I did pair this with a different yarn to do a color work that's like a really pretty burgundy and all. And this, I was going to pair with something else. I don't remember. I've got it in my stash. Or I could pair it with this one that I got. I got this on a different order. So I could pair these two together, but boy, wouldn't that be really bright. But I could pair these together again and do a color work, but they're both going to be part of color work sweaters. And I bought them, like I said, because they were on sale to see if I liked the yarn before I committed to like a lot of it. And oh, yes, I do. I see what Rebecca was talking about. It's very nice. It is rustic. Okay, so think along the same lines as Jamieson and Smith, Holst Garn, JC Rennie. These are rustic yarns. This is, you know, a British wool. This is not merino. The next ones, though, that I got in the same order, because if I'm going to do it, you know, and they were 2 for, you got to buy 2 or you paid regular price. I got 2 of their merinos in this red color, and the red in this is, you look, it is Rojo Red. And I got 2 of these because I just want these, like, I want this to be a sweater. And they're fingering weight, so I knit fingering weight stuff all the time, so that's not a problem. And it's plenty to do a sweater. I might even be able to hold it double, but I doubt I will. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? I might actually hold some mohair with it. That would be really pretty too. This is softer than the British wool, but I will tell you, this is not as soft as a superwash merino, but it is nice and soft. I have not made anything out of any of the Woolyknit yarns yet, so I can't tell you how they hold up. If you go watch Rebecca's videos, she will tell you she loves it. They hold up really well. And she has a lot of it in her stash. This is just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And I will say that the shipping is a little high, but number 1, I think it's worth it. Number 2, they have started running sales where they do free shipping internationally, or they just did one for our 4th of July celebration, free shipping to the United States. I thought that was very, very generous. Now, they put a cap on it, and it's the lowest tier, so you can only get like 2 kilograms. So you don't think that you're going to go in there and you're going to buy, you know, 8 or 10 or 20 cones and that they're going to cover shipping. No, no, no. It could be 4 of the 500-gram cones or several of these 200-gram hanks. They have a whole video of like what you can fit into 2 kilograms. So they have these. They sell this in the cone and in this hank. They do, I won't swear to this now, but they do have some, I think it's 50-gram balls that they are now selling as well. And they have some other wool that's called something mill wool, Warth mill wool or something like that. And it's just wool. Ruth Loves to Knit loves that yarn, and she has had it on her podcast several times. She's made sweaters out of it, and they do run those for like 2 packages. So you wind up with like, I think you wind up with 500 grams, and they run them like 2 for so-and-so, because they come in 5-pack balls, and they're 50-gram balls. So they have those as well. And then they also have sock yarn that they sell. They also have some linen cotton. They have Aran weight. They have some acrylic. They have a lot of different yarns. They have 100% cotton. The only ones that I have are the British wool, the sock, and the merino. So I do want to get some of the cotton and the cotton linen blend. Some people in our chat group did order some of those, and I'm waiting to see what they think about them whenever they, you know, knit them up before I pull the trigger on very many of them. And then another ball, and I showed y'all this. This is, I forget the name of it. It's like neon green or something like that. Nitro green. This is nitro green, and this is the British 4-ply. And I bought this last, I'm trying to think, I think it might have been around Christmas when they did it. When they ran the international free shipping. It was either Christmas or New Year's, I think. And I got this, and I know I got this because I am pairing those 2 together. Those to me are not quite as radioactive as these 2, right? So I think those 2 are better. I'm going to do a color work, and this will be the contrast, and this will be the background. And so speaking about that, this is one of the cashmere, or not cashmere, merino wools. This is, and if you look in these have great labeling as well. It tells me it's Woolyknit. It tells me it's a 4-ply merino wool. Tells me it's a 500-gram cone. It is Frambuska Pink 5252. And then it gives me their email if I need to contact them about anything. So this is one of my very favorite pinks. So I could not resist getting this in a cone. And then the other merino wools that I own. Let me look, because I own a lot of the 4-ply. I'm not sure what merinos I own. It may just be that. Nope, this one's a merino. I can tell just by picking it up. It is softer. This is a merino wool. And the thing that I love is, right, this has it on there. It's a merino wool, it's yarn to cone, and it's Woolyknit. But if I lose that, like I did on the other one, I can easily look in here. And this colorway is Purpura, and it again is a 500 gram cone. It is the merino wool. And then one of these, I think, may be merino. They are not. So I think the rest of them are all 4-plies. Yes. So the rest of my 500 gram cones are 4-plies. I did get some of these, like I paid shipping. I got some of these whenever they did the free shipping. And then I got only one whenever they did the 4th of July one. And that was this one right here that is cherry red. And I am going to hold this, I think I'm going to hold this with the Lucia red by Holskarn and knit this up in like a Monday sweater and just have me a beautiful red sweater. And I think I'm going to try to find a mohair that this will go with. Now you can see those are pretty close in color. But this is cherry red. I did buy this. It's the only one that I bought. I kind of regret that I didn't get more. And I'm waiting, hopefully, because I think that they had some really great, some really, really great response to doing the free shipping. And I think that it is so generous to do that first level, 2 kilograms. I think that's more than fair. And if they do it again, I do plan on buying more. And I think this time I'm going to buy some of the cotton and some of the cotton linen and maybe some of the Worth wool. We'll see. I'm going to buy a few more things. And then other than that color, and none of these colors will be a surprise to anyone because I do, in fact, love these colors. This beautiful, beautiful, I know the colorway of this is called Corvette Blue, and it is a cobalt blue. It is just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And I do have some mohair that would go exactly with this. I may very well hold this with mohair, but this is just such a beautiful, beautiful color. Then I have this one that is burgundy red. Again, just stunning, stunning, stunning. That might actually go better than what it recommends. Those two, absolutely not. I don't know if I'll hold this with mohair or I'll put this with something for color work. I probably already have it assigned to something in my stash. I just am not looking at my stash right now. Then this one here is Orchard Plum. I got this one on the free shipping that they did around Christmas or New Year's. This is just beautiful. It is such a pretty, pretty purple, and it definitely is a different color than that. It is more of a, well, it is a plum color. It's kind of that color that has some pink and some purple in it. And then last but not least for the British wool, I have this beautiful color, which is Pine Forest. This is another one I got on one of the free shippings. Isn't that just beautiful? I love, 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 love this colorway. Then the only other thing that I have from Woolyknit is some of their sock yarn. And this sock yarn is a 200 gram wool nylon cone. So it does not tell me what the blend is here, but it does here. It's 90% wool, 10% nylon. It will not be socks for me. These will be a sweater, which is why I wound up getting 2 of each cone because each cone is only 200 grams. And it does not tell me on here how much that is, but it's not enough to make a sweater in my size. So I got 2 of each one of these, and this colorway right here is burgundy or foxglove. I think it's much more purple than that, but it says it's burgundy or foxglove. This one right here says that it is teal green. I would agree with that. It is a green that leans towards the teal color. And then this last one, and again, no surprise, this one also is Corvette. So these two are the same color. You can see they do look just slightly different because each type of yarn takes color a little bit differently. And so that is what I have. Those are my final cones. I don't have any more cones in my stash. Like I said, I do have one more wool of the Andes coming. I don't think I have any more cones coming, but I do have some plans for Holskarn and JC Rennie and maybe some more Deadstock. We shall see. All right. And then after the first of the year, I'm going to have to do a little bit of thinking, but we'll get there in a regular podcast. All right. So I hope that y'all have enjoyed seeing this. If you haven't tried these brands, They are wonderful. I haven't knit anything with the Woolyknit yet, but that is next on the list. I am going to cast on the red one very, very soon, so I will have something out of the Woolyknit. And the JC Rennie is just absolutely stunning. So is the Wool of the Andes, and I can't wait to try the Kelbourn Woolen. So, and the Ito as well. I haven't tried that either. So if you have used these yarns, let me know. Let me know what you think about it. Which of these brands is your favorite? Which color is your favorite? You know, do you have it, but you haven't used it? What are your plans for it? I'd love to hear all about that. And if you have enjoyed this at all, I would really, really appreciate a thumbs up, like, and a subscribe, because as I have said before, ad nauseum, right? It's kind of a little broken record, but all of the podcasters will tell you, when you engage with my channel by leaving a comment or giving me a thumbs up or subscribing, it tells YouTube that I am a valid podcaster, that my video is worthy of being promoted, and it will get me in more people's algorithms, and it will really help me grow, and it is absolutely 100% free for you. So it is a win-win. All right, well, thank you very much for hanging out with me, and until I see you again, I hope you have a fabulous knitty